In this week's Parshat Bo, there's an interesting conversation between Moshe and Paro. Moshe and Aaron are trying to convince Paro to let the Jewish people go for a 3-day excursion into the desert in which we'll be able to serve Hashem. And Paro says no, keep saying no, and finally, when his people are already fed up with all of the plagues, Paro calls the Jewish people back in, calls the representative Moshe and Aaron back in, and it says, this is chapter 10, verse 8 and 9. Moshe and Aaron were brought back to Paro, and he said to them, go serve your God, and who's going to come with you? Who exactly do you plan on taking on this religious journey that you're going on? And Moshe says, we will go with our young, with our old, with our sons, with our daughters, with our sheep, with our cattle, because we have a festival. We have a way to celebrate, to commemorate, to thank Hashem for everything He's done for us. And Paro says, you think I'm going to let your children go? Let the men go. Let the men folk, the religious people, let the people who serve and do sacrifices and stuff like that, let them go. What was Paro interested in knowing who was going to go? He's letting his slaves go. That's all they really wanted, right? What does he care? Who? Which? Does he need to know if the children are going to stay? Does he have machines for them to fix? Does he have iPods to make? Why does he need the children to stay? What's going on here? So Rav Samson Raphael Hirsch directs us to a very important concept in Judaism. And he says, I'm reading from the translation here, from the German, we have no intermediaries, no priests, no representatives before God. If we are to go, we must all go. From the youngest infant in his cradle to the last sheep in our possession, the community is found within each one of us. No one and nothing may remain. As opposed to many of the religions of the past, and maybe even some religions currently, Judaism is not a religion that's based on having some sort of representative. The rabbi isn't what a priest is in other religions. The rabbi is just a regular Jew like everybody else. From my own personal life, when I earned smicha, I only really did it because I felt like there's no reason why I should know any less than a rabbi. So I want to know what a rabbi needs to know. And then I started studying. And then I earned smicha. We have no representatives. God is inside of us. And we need to individually reach that point where we recognize that and communicate with Him through that. Yes, there are things we do as a community. Yes, there are things that certainly not appropriate for the children to be involved in. And halacha recognizes this. There are times when, even though we always want to have children in shul and we want to have everybody present and praying and communicating and representing themselves in front of Hashem, there are times when that's not so appropriate. For example, with Purim coming up in a month and a half, there's a custom to make noise during the reading of the Megillah when Haman's name is being mentioned. But that's not always appropriate, and too much noise isn't good. And children disturbing the whole activity by making too much noise or being inappropriate some other way, that's also not good. We are all supposed to be present. Man, woman, and child. We are all part of Judaism. Judaism isn't the kind of religion where it's just for the priests to celebrate and for us to, receive. We are all celebrating. We are all connecting to Hashem individually from within. Have a Shabbat Shalom.